Welcome to this practice. We will be exploring the upper three vayus in this practice. Of course, we always include the lower vayus too. And towards the end of the practice, you're going to have the opportunity to learn how to chant AUM, spelled A-U-M silence. That is A-U-M silence. You'll learn how that chanting practice can help you to move energy from the Anahata chakra, the heart chakra, to Vishuddhi chakra, the throat chakra, and up to the sixth chakra, Agnya chakra. And that process can help you to experience meditation in a very natural way. Okay, let's head into the practice. I look forward to sharing this with you. Good morning again, and welcome for yoga practice. So in this pranayama time, we're going to be exploring Vyana Vayu, Udana Vayu, and Prana Vayu. These are called the three upper vayus because they're in the upper region of the torso. Vyana Vayu is the vayu that extends outwards in all directions. So like the circulation of the heart goes to all parts of the body, the most distal and also the proximal. Vyana Vayu is circulating out to all those neighborhoods. Even the most rural village is getting the circulation out to the fingers and the toes, for example. So healthy Vyana Vayu is the healthy expression of prana being distributed to all parts of the body where it's needed. And then Udana Vayu is an upward moving Vayu. So its gateway is upward, and you can think of the throat as a gateway between the trunk, torso, and the head, or between the heart and the mind. Or you can imagine it between these lower vayus and chakras towards the upper vayus and chakras. So what is informing the leadership upstairs is coming from down below here in this case. Of course, we need upper leadership to understand what information is being provided and not simply to be reactive to it. So Udana Vayu is going upward, and then Prana Vayu is the vayu of the head region. And it is said to either shower down, like encompassing the whole body, or sometimes it's demonstrated as going inward. So it's that which is infusing the whole body now with prana. And the reason it has these two depictions is that we can imagine prana being organized, and then the master of prana showering over the body and a kind of radiance that overcomes us. However, prana can also be that which is coming inward and nourishing the whole system. It comes inward through things like the practice of pranayama, but also the foods that we eat that are high in prana, which is basically the opposite of processed foods. It's the whole natural food that we eat that has the most prana. In fact, even leftovers of really good food do not have the same quality of prana there. So prana comes in through pranayama, through food, and also through nature and beauty and listening to, let's say, auspicious music or divine teachings, seeing beautiful colors or yantra that you're taking in with your eyes, being in the natural environment when it is lush with prana. So that's how we soak that in. Things that interrupt prana, as we know, coming in through the head region, all of the electricity in our homes, the overhead wires, the amount of kind of static in the environment, that can interrupt the ability for us to take in prana. Also, listening to, let's say, gossip or exclamatory things, things that are based more in drama or untruths, as we say, asatoma, satgamaya. May we understand that which is deeply true and know that distinct from that which is not true. So listening to untrue things or eating processed foods and so on, being in environments that overwhelm your senses will end up depleting your prana or your ability to take in prana. So let's say that we work in an environment like that because we have purposeful work. Perhaps we're in a very busy hospital, for example. It's difficult to maintain your well-being if you don't take care of it in any setting, but in settings where there's a high demand, there's a lot of stimulus, we have the duty, the opportunity, the responsibility to restore our prana on a regular basis. So we can then be of service in those settings that are calling for our skill or our presence there. And that's where the practice of pranayama, a dedicated practice of pranayama, can come in so helpfully. So let's take a comfortable seat. We'll be exploring these upper regions of the vayus. We will not discount the lower regions. They will also be there. So please begin. As you come into your meditation mode, let's imagine each of the senses turning inward, releasing for this time the outside world. So listening inside, sensing within, gazing within. And because the thinking mind, or the daily operational self mind, likes to have a place to be engaged, rather than leaving it kind of ambiguous, invite your mind to notice the movement of the breath. Offer that invitation for your mind without directing the breath to do anything in particular right now. So the breath can act a little bit like our personal GPS system. It tells us where to get grounded, reminds us of the present moment. It allows us to stabilize in the here and now. So getting grounded in the present moment with some stabilizing GPS. The breath need not be any different, as if you were looking at a butterfly on a blade of grass, not needing it to be different. You may have a sense of the delicacy of meditating on the breath without you coordinating the breath at all. And the delicacy means each time that you do have a thought, it'll have an impression in the body, and that impression will modify the breath a little bit. If it's a thought of excitement, the breath changes. If it's a thought of dread, the breath is changed again. If it's a thought about tasks or to-dos, the breath also changes. And then you may have the internal reminder, just letting go and observing the breath come back to its naturalness. We'll just take a little note, like a sticky note, to the side of the practice, noting how easeful or challenging this little period of meditation has been. Then we'll practice the pranayama, and I intend for you to sense how easeful meditation can be when prana is organized. And please raise your hands to your heart. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Harihi Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands as you're ready to. Please open your eyes. I'd like you to have 2 yoga blocks, please. So we're going to do some work that opens the upper back region, the Vyana Vayu region. And come over to facing the short edge of your yoga mat. And place the 2 blocks so that they're like the equal sign, you know, in math, like this. So we'll be putting the elbow, the back of the elbow here on the center of the block here. We'll do that for each of the elbows. And then the palms will start together like this. But then you're going to be widening the hands apart, which moves the wrists apart. And that rotates the forearm, which is going to rotate the upper arm, which is going to rotate the shoulder joint. So keeping that in mind, as you're doing that, you're going to hear me say, press the fingerprints and widen the hands apart. It's going to go like this. Okay, so place your elbows in the center of the 2 blocks. Put the palms together initially. And then press until the wrists are wide apart. And as you now walk your hips back, not down to the heels, but take them back towards the wall behind you. Bring the fingers up over behind your head. Relax the weight of your head down towards the floor. So in this position, as you press the fingers into each other and the wrists go wide, now let the breath come into the lower belly, the mid-torso, and into the upper back, chest, and heart. And see if you could kind of portion the inhale evenly between those three regions, lower, middle, and upper. And breathe in again one more time. And then exhale, come forward, keeping your elbows stable on the blocks and keeping the blocks stable. Bring your hips down and forward. Raise up through your torso. Roll the shoulders back, lift your heart. And notice the breath coming into the lower belly, so the lowest part of the abdomen, then the low torso, mid-back, the back of the kidneys, the sides of the rib cage, and up into the heart.
Well, move your place.
And then press down with your knees and the tops of your feet.
Yeah.
Raise your hips and reach back to the first position.
Stop. Move your head somewhere else. Move. Move. Come on.
Did you have a question? I'm going to turn the
Now
volume
my
up.
dog is all over my computer. I'm sorry. I'm asking her to move. She unmuted. My
Oh,
dog unmuted.
oh no, not to
Asking
worry.
her to talk.
That's so funny. She knows what she's doing. That's a little talent in your dog. Okay, so we'll go between these two positions. We're going to take about 3 breath cycles in each of them. So in this position, your torso is in flexion, but the thoracic spine is in extension. The arms are overhead. Concentrate on the breath being broad in the back of the body. And then exhale and come forward, and your whole spine is going to be in extension. And we still want to concentrate on the breath, including the back hemisphere of the body. Lift up through the crown of your skull. And then with your third exhale, press the knees down, raise your hips, reach back again. Relax the weight of your head. So here, the cervical spine is in flexion, the thoracic spine is in extension, and the lumbar spine is in flexion. So you're not hammocking the lower back down towards the floor, but the upper thoracic spine has this little back bend because of the shoulder position. And then come forward one more time, where the entire spine will be in extension, including the throat and the cervical spine. And then press up into table pose on the elbows and the knees. Then place your hands on the 2 blocks and set them so that you can inhale to cat pose. Exhale, drop back to child's pose. Touch your hips to your heels. Stretch the arms out in front. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, cow pose. Bring your heart forward. Take the sitting bones back. And then cat pose. And child's pose, reach back with the hips to touch the heels, squeeze the breath out. Here is the apana vayu, right? Then inhale, roll lower belly, mid back, upper back into cat pose. Exhale to cow pose, slide the pubic bone back, bring your chest and heart forward. And once more, inhale to cat. And exhale to child's pose, a complete exhale. Inhale, cat pose, cow pose. And sit back to kneeling in Vajrasana. So come to Vajrasana, which is thunderbolt pose or sitting on the heels pose. Rest your hands in your lap and close your eyes and see if you can just grant yourself again the permission not to coordinate the breath, not to be doing something specific, but to simply observe the breath, like watching the butterfly on the blade of grass. As you observe the breath, also start noticing the quality of your observing mind. Is it sharp? Is it smooth? Is it more rough or more unctuous? Is it more generous, more stringent? Now we're going to do a practice that helps to open up Udana Vayu and the throat. And it is a practice that is done lying on the abdomen. So if you're pregnant, then lying on the abdomen is, in second trimester, third trimester, we don't do it that way. So I'm going to ask you to modify the practice. And that could be modified by doing this with a countertop where you're standing, or you can try modifying it so the elbows will be on the countertop. You're standing, but the elbows are on the countertop. Or modify it with a chair, the seat of the chair, the elbows on the chair seat. Or you can see the practice and then take a look at how you can modify it. So I'll put these two blocks aside here. Lie on the stomach. And then you're going to take the hands so that the index finger goes behind the ear. And the elbows go pretty far forward. So we're stretching the myofascial, the musculoskeletal, and even the inner body here. This also changes how your diaphragm breathes you. So as you stretch the elbows forward, use your hands to lift the base of your skull. And allow the breath to come down into the lower back and the lower belly, the mid-torso, the sides of the torso. You may find that you still can have an inhale coming up into the upper chest and the heart, up almost like it's lifting the collarbones, as the ocean does to the driftwood. This practice is tonifying to your vagal tone. Your vagus nerve is being influenced positively. It also supports heart rate variability with a deep inhale and a complete exhale. It's increasing your capacity for a full thoracodiaphragmatic breath. Do one more time. And then release your head from your hands. Make a little pillow of your head, pillow of your hands for your head, and come down with your head to one side. And now notice that the breath comes into the back hemisphere of the torso really naturally and gracefully. And the breath now is not likely to include the upper chest or the collarbones. That is because of the position of the diaphragm when we lie on the stomach like this. Turn your head to the other side and focus on a full breath in the back hemisphere of the body. And then keeping that full breath in the back hemisphere of the body, place your chin on the back of your hand. And then walk your hands back underneath your shoulders and press back up to Vajrasana. So one of the benefits of that position is that you have pressure on the abdomen, which, when you're pregnant, you have a whole different kind of pressure on the abdomen. So it may not be something that you can replicate so easily. And it's simply important that we encourage your body to be able to breathe in the back body, not just to be followed by the weight of the front body, where the sacrum tends to start tipping forward and it feels like there's not enough room for the diaphragm. So let's take notice again. What is the quality of the mind now? We're going to take a look now at the 3-part inhalation called Durga Pranayama. We're going to do it with a couple of yoga props. So this is a reclined version of this practice. And it can be helpful in 2nd or 3rd trimester of pregnancy. It's also helpful when somebody has a strong pitta dosha imbalance. This is a way to give them some support. So we've got 2 shoulder blades are going to go here on the flat block. Your head is going to go here on the next block. We're going to pad those with a blanket. So when you lie back on the first block, expect that you can have the shoulder blades on the block. So the 2 blocks are close enough to support your head and your shoulder blades, but they're probably not touching. Most people have a little space between the shoulder blades, the top of the shoulders, and the base of the skull. It's really helpful if the blanket under your head allows you to have your throat be pretty relaxed. You can do this with the knees bent or with the legs straight. It's up to you. So take the arms down, palms face down. Relax the floating ribs here. And see if you can just concentrate the breath first into the lower pelvis and the lower abdomen. And then turn the forearms and the palms out to the sides. Your shoulders are going to rotate open. And see if it's natural to have the breath include the lower pelvis and the mid-torso. And then reach the arms overhead and see if it's natural to bring the breath into the low pelvis, mid-torso, and the upper chest and the heart. And then exhale from the lower abdomen, mid-abdomen, upper belly, chest and heart. And release the arms out to the side. So those are 3 positions for the arms that we're going to be using that kind of like a snow angel process to help move the breath. So in this pranayama, we'll inhale using ujjayi. We'll start in the low pelvis, first third of the breath, mid-torso, second third of the breath, upper chest and heart, final third of the breath. So 1, 2, 3 regions of the breath continuously without interruption. The exhale is a smooth exhale, almost like a zipper. I often describe it that way, coming up the front of the abdomen. So let's start with the arms, palms face down. Place the tip of your tongue behind the top 2 teeth and make the back of the throat hollow. And then begin with your inhalation. Take the arms out to the side, turn the palms face up. Pace your arms to move with the length of the breath so everything is synchronized in harmony. And then exhale and let the arms float back down to the starting position. As the arms are going down, the exhale is going up and out, up the spine, out the nose. Let's repeat. Remember that you might want to count the Durga pranayama in threes or in a pace that's dividable by the number 3. And that's so that each portion is getting the same pace or the same amount of time for the inhalation. So you may be inhaling 3 times for the count of 3 or 3 times for the count of 4 and 5. Let's have the exhale be equal to the length of the inhale. One more time. We'll end with the palms face down alongside the torso and the hips. Okay, now we're going to add the inhale pause distinctly and the exhale pause distinctly. So let's use the number 3 or a number divisible by 3. So you'll inhale first third, middle third, upper third, suspend for the same length of these 3 portions. So if it's 3, 3, 3, then it's 3 for the suspend. And then you're going to exhale for 9, which is equal to the number of these 3 added up. And we'll exhale suspend for 3. Okay, so it might be helpful if we all use the number 3, and if you count slower or faster based on your breath pace. So it'll go like this. I'll count the first one out loud. So Ujjayi inhale. Inhale for 3. Pause for 3. Inhale 3. Pause for 3. Inhale 3. Pause for 3. Exhale for 9. Pause for 3. And then begin again. Okay, so if any part of that causes breathlessness, then revert back to the more simple practice. So you're not tolerating breathlessness, you're cultivating a pranayama practice. So we don't tolerate breathlessness and try to push through that. Okay, so in your own timing for your 3s. One more time. Okay, now as you notice what is happening with the breath, you drop into what's natural, letting all effort release. And sometimes your body is very oxygenated. It has a good balance of O2, CO2, and you may have a very subtle, almost imperceptible experience of breath. And either roll down to your right side or stretch the legs out and come up to sitting. And then turn to your meditation seat. Come up to sit, and let's, again, simply take notice. We're looking at the naturalness of things here. So you can close the eyes, keep your senses inward. Observing whatever capacity your mind has now for being quiet, recognizing mental stillness, not just mental chatter. We're going to use a practice that moves energy from the Vyana Vayu to the Udana Vayu up to Prana Vayu. It also moves energy from Anahata Chakra, the heart chakra, up to the throat chakra, up to the sixth chakra. So Vishuddhi chakra and Agnya chakra. So it's going to move up in this way. When we move energy like this, we're simply using the sound of Om. And Om has 4 components. It has A, U, M, and silence. The way we make the Om sound is specific here. We're going to put the A as an Ah in the back of the throat, the U as an Oo sound in the middle of the mouth, and then the M sound in the front of the mouth with the lips slightly tucked in between the teeth, so it makes a vibration. So it's Om. Silence. So during the exhale, it's like 4 parts of an exhale. You have A, U, M, silence. So your exhale continues after the sound of the M has gone to silence. So let me just demonstrate one more time. The exhale is still continuing. And my hand gestures have nothing to do with American Sign Language. I don't know that technique. So it's like the ah sound is open in the back of the throat. The oo sound is in the middle of the mouth. The am is at the front of the mouth. The silence, the exhale continues. So this is just me making up a gesture to say This is how the breath is flowing. Simultaneous to that movement, there is a second movement, and it is from the ah sound you're going to feel in the heart. Ah. What happens here is the ah, the oo, the M is in the mouth, especially in the upper palate, because as the lips curl in, the upper palate rises, and the silence is going up into the sixth chakra, up into the higher mind. So you can feel that if you put the hands together in Anjali Mudra and rest your thumbs against your sternum. You will feel the ah sound in the sternum. Ah. The oo sound, the sound of the letter U, is going to move up to the throat. Ooh, less in the sternum. And the M sound, the vibration goes up to the mouth. And so again, less in the heart. It's moving, it's migrating up like that. So let me change my settings so you'll be able to hear my chant the whole way through. So let's give it a go. It's going to be an ujjayi inhale in between the sounds of the Om. Okay, so rest your thumbs against your sternum. Ujjayi inhalation. Om. Ujjayi inhalation. Om. 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 One more. Om. And then rest your hands back in your lap where you prefer them to be. Slightly bow your chin towards your throat. Gaze in towards the heart, but sense the circular movement, the gaze towards the heart, energy of the heart up towards the throat, to the mind, to the higher center of wisdom, gazing at the heart. Sense it to be like a circular action. Letter A in AUM represents that which is being manifest, that which is rising into form. The U is that which is sustaining. The M is that which is dissolving. And the silence is the space between dissolution and manifestation again. This is represented by the three gods: Brahma, that which is coming into form, that which is being born; Vishnu, that which is sustaining; Shiva, that which is destroying or dissolving; you may bring the hands to the heart. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Parara Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Parara Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Guru Gurudevo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Parara Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste. So these practices, each the reclined Durga Pranayama while you're counting the breath, and even the AUM as you're counting to evenly pace AUM silence, they require a delicate amount of concentration that ought not cause you to fall into perfectionism or rigidity. It's a delicate, artful concentration coming from the neocortex, the higher mind. While we're breathing, moving, sensing, chanting, you're creating what's called the top-down, bottom-up processing field that quiets the limbic brain. And my experience is that when the limbic brain quiets down, it grants us access to meditate. And I hope that meditation comes more naturally and easily as you balance the brain this way. And of course, we've rebalanced how prana is evenly calibrated through apana vayu, samana vayu, vyana vayu, udana vayu, and prana vayu. So that ought to also help with your meditation. Thank you once again. Thanks so much for sharing your practice with me and also with the community. If this practice generated questions for you, please leave those in the comments down below, or your reflections can be left there as well. And if this kind of methodology for how I'm sequencing pranayama, if this intrigues you, check out the teacher training school here at this URL. We have a 200-hour teacher training program, a 300-hour teacher training program, and an 800-hour yoga therapy training program, as well as a yoga psychology training program. So check out the URL and you can learn more there. As always, don't forget to hit the like button if this practice is helpful to you, and the subscribe button so that you'll be a part of our community online here. Thank you so much. Namaste.